Hey, welcome back to the Net+Labs for Lab 5 TCP IP protocols and other key protocols. This is part 2 for DHCP reservations. I left all the screens open from the previous videos, so we're going to continue on. Administrators sometimes need a specific IP address to always be assigned to the same client. Two options exist in these scenarios: statically assign the address or create a DHCP reservation. Reservations allow a DHCP administrator to control which client gets a particular IP address. Reservations are optional, but convenient when an administrator wants to control the IP settings for a device such as a network printer. Lesson 2.1. Create and test a DHCP reservation. Step 1. Before a reservation can be created, an administrator must know the MAC address associated with the machine the reservation will be made for. In this example, the backtrack 5 internal machine will be used. In the terminal window, type the command ifconfig and press enter. Look for the section labeled HWAdder on the first line. This is the MAC address for this machine. Write this address down as it will be used in the next section. Okay, so we're going to open up our Linux box, the backtrack 5 internal, clicking on the tab to open that up. We already had the terminal open from previous lab, and we're just going to type in ifconfig, I-F-C-O-N-F-I-G. And hit enter. Alright, now we're looking for the HWAdder. HWAdder, right here. HWAdder, this MAC address. And it says we need to write that down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a text box, a notepad, and I'm going to bring it up into there. So this is 00:50:50:63:98. And that is our, I'm just going to type it out here, WHADDR, so I remember why I wrote that out. Set it aside for later. Okay, step 2. In the DHCP console on the Windows 2K8R2 internal 1 machine, click the reservations in the left pane. So we're going to go back to machine 1, Windows box, and it said we're going to click on the reservations pane. Remember, there was nothing listed here before, so it was blank. Then it says, number 3, click the action menu and select new reservation. Alright, now we opened up the new reservation window, and step 4 says, in the new reservation window, type backtrack 5 for the reservation name. I believe that's a space. 5, backtrack looks like they're both together in one word. Then it says the first 3 octets have already been filled for the IP address, which is true, the 192.168.12. So simply type in 151 for the 4th octet. For the MAC address, type the address from step 1 above without using colons. Type the brief description in the reservation in the description. Once all fields have been completed, click Add to create the reservation. So we're going to first type in the 151 for the IP address, and then we're going to bring back this text document so that we can type in that MAC address without the colons. It said 00:50:56:90:63:98. And the reason why we do that is because really the colons are just for humans to identify the separation between the numbers, but the computer really doesn't need those separations to understand what you are typing or what you're labeling. Back to step 4, we need to type in the description. Here they have the description as reservation for the BT5 machine, which I'll just do exactly how they wrote out in the screenshot. Reservation for the BT5 machine. And then hit add to create. Did it create it? Oh, there it is. It did create it. The screen just didn't go away when I selected add, so I had to close it. Upon adding the reservation, the new reservation dialog box will remain open in case other reservations need to be made. Click close to close the dialog box, and the reservation now appears in the center pane. Alright, now for the last portion of this lesson, step 6, to test the reservation, reset the network interface on the backtrack 5 internal machine by typing the if down ETH0, followed up by the if up ETH0 in the terminal window. So we're going to go back here to our Linux box, the backtrack 5 internal, and we're going to reset that network interface by typing in if down space ETH0 to bring it down. And now we got to bring it back up by typing in if up space ETH0 and hit enter. If the if down command uses a DHCP release to the DHCP server, allowing its address to be placed back into the pool of available addresses. The if up command issues the DHCP renew command to ask the DHCP server for a new IP address. This time, the MAC address from the backtrack 5 internal machine matches a reservation created on the DHCP server. So, the DHCP server issues the reserved address to the machine. Notice that this occurs even though the address used in the reservation part of the excluded range created in the DHCP pool. DHCP reservation are another example of addresses that can be excluded from DHCP pools. So step 7 says keep all windows open and continue to the next task section, which will bring us to our conclusion. Administrators sometimes need a specific IP address to always be assigned to the same client. Two options exist in these scenarios. Statically assign the address or create a DHCP reservation. Reservations allow a DHCP administrator to control which clients get a particular IP address. Reservations are optional but convenient when an administrator wants to control the IP addresses for a device such as a network printer. Now on to our review questions. What command displays the IP configuration on a Linux machine? On a Linux machine, it is different than doing the IP configuration on a Windows, and the difference is on Linux machines we use the command ifconfig, and on a Windows machine we use ipconfig. Question 2. True or false? Colons are required when entering the MAC address into the reservation window. No, colons are not required, and this is only for us visually to see the separations in the numbers. The computer doesn't need to visually see the separations in the numbers. True or false? Reservations are immediate and do not require the DHCP lease process to be restarted. False. You would need to do your renew release for Linux, just like as if you were in a Windows box. You would have to apply the ipconfig renew and release. Except in Linux, it would be the if down and the if up commands for the renew and release. This concludes our lesson.